I just wanted to welcome everybody out today. Welcome. We have an open discussion taking place today. We have our OmniFlex panel of experts. Um, I'm not sure if everyone is seeing webcams in the same order, but we do have Tom Randall, the brains behind the OmniFlex concept. He worked very closely with the upper echelons at Manhattan Life. It's been years in development. And from Manhattan Life, we actually have Earl Baxter. He is the director of marketed products. He actually sits in and answers questions on their own training for their own direct agents. A really good resource of knowledge there. We have our director of strategic accounts, Dennis Reiner, joining us from Michigan, where he's based out of. We have Jeff Clark also on video wearing the blue shirt. And we have John Randall joining us just with audio. I'm not sure if his laptop is working in terms of the camera and viewing or showing webcams. So we have a number of agents in the audience too. We're going to literally open things up to allow you to ask your questions. If you need to elaborate, you will be able to do that. Or if it spurs additional questions, you're more than welcome to, it's more or less a discussion. So I'm hopefully sharing my screen, and I want to make sure.
Lynn, real quick before you jump in, I want to first of all mention Lynn Voss is just our key member of our marketing support team. She does a great job. She works on tons of stuff for us. I couldn't even begin to list it. And we have Manny Rosen, I believe, too, as a panelist. I think Manny's on as well. He's maybe not on camera, but I think he's on. So anyway, just go ahead, Lynn. I promise I won't keep jumping in. You know, I like to talk.
You know what? That's the whole point of this. It's an open discussion. But yes, I do think we have, I'm looking now, we do have Manny hiding in the wings. But of course, we took a lot of time to try and coordinate schedules to have everyone available for these questions. Of course, we can't have everyone from Manhattan Life joining us today. And as much as we're able to, we're going to try and address every question, no matter how detailed, how administrative, commission related. Just know, I do want to forewarn, if there is a question that is extremely technical about Manhattan Direct 2.0, the enrollment platform, if it's something very specific to underwriting, we may need to reach out to those individuals at Manhattan Life just to make sure we're getting you the correct information. We don't want to put all the pressure on Earl here. So, but do rest assured, no matter what, we will have the right information to you. We're going to try and include all the questions that we can, but we are going to cap it at an hour. Depending on how well it goes, we may consider doing another one, just putting it out there. And we've got a ton of agents in the audience. I'm excited to hear feedback and stories and experiences with writing OmniFlex. So I do want to start off by calling attention to this slide. As we still get additional individuals coming on, be sure that you're allowing yourself to participate. Now, what that means is when you join the GoToWebinar platform, it allows you to choose either your computer's audio, or you can use your telephone and computer microphone to handle the audio portion. If you are using your telephone, be sure to enter the audio pin. It's one of the numbers that wouldn't even have shown up in the confirmation email. The audio pins show up as you join. And you see the image there, it actually highlights there in your GoToWebinar app. Make sure you do enter that, because without it, you would not be able to be unmuted. Even if that is the case, I want to flip over to the next screen here. Even if that's the case, there are other ways to submit your questions. So everybody here has the ability, maybe not the panelists, y'all are just open. You're unmuted, you get open discussion. But there is the ability to raise your hand. If you do have questions, raise your hand. That prompts us to know that you would like to participate and you have a question that would help with the discussion and continue the conversation. If you do not want to be heard, or if you do not enter your audio pin using the phone, there is also the question. You can expand the question section and manually type in your questions, and we'll be reading those throughout as we receive them. So I am going to go ahead and start, and I'm going to give everyone a chance to start doing the raising hands and typing in questions. I will be monitoring that, but I'm going to give everyone here just a couple minutes to talk a little bit about themselves, their experience, and their favorite aspect of the OmniFlex coverage. So should I pick
Hey,
on
Lynn,
Tom first?
yes, and hey, Lynn, would you make sure that we're recording this for those that?
That is a very good point. Yes, we are recording this. We will be making the recording available after the fact. I'm not sure if all of the cameras will be included, but we will definitely try. At the very least, you get the content and the questions and the very interesting answers. So we will be sharing that afterwards.
Looks like the smart
All right,
people are already typing questions in. You've already got 3 in there. There was just 1. So good job, Howard. We'll be the first one to type one in there.
All right.
Lynn, did you want me to start? Is that what you're going to say?
Yeah. Did you want to? Did you? I know it's a little bit waving your own flag a little bit, but did you want to say just a little bit about the work that you put into it, developing the concept, and just a little bit about yourself and what aspect of the coverage is your favorite?
Absolutely. And again, obviously, it takes a village, like we always say, and there's no way it's all by any stretch my product that we worked on, because the whole team here at GoldenCare used our years and years of experience. You guys don't want to be bored with my bio, but I've been around forever, it seems like, and I've been with GoldenCare in my 26th year here. So we had a lot of experience with long-term care, and working with our team here, we knew we needed a product to fill the gap when you end up having people who just can't get long-term care. So we helped design that mutual plan. We're proud as can be of the fact that that went from number 10 to number 1 when we added in that cash benefit and some of those different things, along with the great team at Mutual. But what we did with the short-term care, and the reason it took 3 years is not just because we're slow, but we really didn't want to have a vanilla product. We wanted a product that would go out and turn some heads. And I think we did a good job with that because of the fact that we really pushed Earl and his team over at Manhattan, who were just a pleasure to work with. Todd Tibbetts at Standard and all the folks over there, just I can't say enough, how much they were willing to listen about our ideas on adverse selection, our ideas about how to put the plan together to make it as powerful as possible at claim time. And we're really excited about the fact that this plan, my favorite benefit in it is a lot of things, but I'll tell you what, I love the cash, because just like with long-term care, 70% of the people started out using the cash benefit and then 70% finished with it about. So with this benefit, it takes one of the biggest objections away from people who don't buy extended care type coverage, as they say, well, I'm going to have family members take care of me. That cash, that fast 50, is to me the strongest benefit in the plan, amongst many others, of course. But you know me, I'll go for the whole hour if you let me, so I'll be quiet.
All right, good deal. We do have some questions coming in, but Earl, let me give you a chance to introduce yourself. And if you do have a favorite part of OmniFlex, even if it comes down to something specific marketing-wise, definitely please share.
Sure, yeah, glad to be here with you guys. Director of Marketing Products for Manhattan Life. It's been a pleasure working with the GoldenCare team all throughout, so I thank them for all their efforts. I've been with Manhattan Life coming up on 5 years now. I've been in the insurance industry for 5 years now, so I was a baby when I got here. Learned a lot since then, though, and absolutely love it. You know, I've been working now since I was 16, so roughly 30 years, and this is hands down the favorite company I've ever worked for, all the way around in terms of culture, how they treat their employees. So absolutely love Manhattan Life. In terms of the product itself, I'm not really a kind of nuts and bolts product guy, but what I do like is just the excitement the product has stirred up. I mean, this last week I was at an NAIS conference with one of our producers, and the excitement around the product was just I mean, everybody was excited about it. Everybody wanted to talk about it, pick up a brochure, get emailed information about it. So to me, that's the super exciting part of seeing what this thing is going to do over the next year and 2 years. And again, glad to be here with you guys.
Excellent. Again, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to join us today. All right. Shall I move to Dennis?
Okay. Well, gee, I'm glad I wasn't going last because I might have run out of things to have actually said about the product. But I think that, as Tom said, there's so many good things. But what I really like best is that, for those of us who've been in the business for some time, I'm 25 years, so I'm right behind Tom. I'm probably a little bit higher mileage in other respects. But what I like is the fact that we're actually returning this market we're going back to the future. And what I mean by that is, we started with an average age in the long-term care space of 72. And we were placing at that time, back 15 plus years ago, well over, close to 90%. And so what I see is that we've been able to, open that market back up again to a wider market where we're capturing that senior market, which is a much wider opportunity. And I think we have the ability now to, from a cross-selling or packaging or bundling, to help those who are really not the specialists in the long-term care space, but those who are selling other products, whether they're selling annuities or life, or they're in the Medicare space, that suddenly now we have a product that's a solution for a much wider audience. And again, going from 45 to age 89, boy, it just opens up all kinds of possibilities. But I'm most excited about the fact that we can actually get this product into so many more seniors, and that we can help more individuals who really are going to be the ones that need it the most.
Good deal. Thank you for joining us today, Dennis. I know you're a very important part of our training team. You've done so much. Let's see here. I know we've got John, not on camera, but John Randall is with us as well, Regional Director at GoldenCare. Would you like to say a little bit and explain what aspect of OmniFlex is your favorite?
Sure. Thank you, Lynn. I'm John Randall, brother of Tom Randall. I've been with GoldenCare 23 years now in the insurance business. And I love what Earl said. The excitement of this product is crazy. But if I'd had to pick something, it's that we can build a plan that's more powerful than any other plan out there. And it's cheaper. And that's everything every long-term care, short-term care person is looking for, affordability and the power in the plan. So I'll keep it short and pass it over to Jeff.
All right,
Hey,
Jeff
Jeff.
Carr.
Lynn, I got to throw in really quick. I hope Mark Goldberg's listening, because he never knows there's really two Randall brothers. He's never seen us together. So you saw my lips move a little bit. We had you fooled again, Mark, but sorry, Jeff, go ahead.
Well, thanks, Lynn, for saving the best for last. I appreciate that to get started. So my name is Jeff Clark. I'm a regional director here. I've been in the insurance business for 26 years, pretty much all in long-term care. My job now, I compare long-term care plans, short-term care plans, long-term care and life hybrids. So I kind of get into the weeds, if you will. I put on my lab coat and I really compare these plans. My favorite part is how I can dissect this product, and really it's very flexible. If you've heard any of my webinars, I'm a big fan in getting all of your premium dollars back as quick as you can. In other words, shorter, fatter. I've been saying it for 15 years. And I gotta tell you, this is the shortest, fattest policy out there. So you can get as much as $200,000 back over a 1-year period, or 2 different benefit periods, quicker than a long-term care, quicker than a hybrid. In other words, if I want to have my benefits bled over to me over a 3 or 4 year period, I would do long-term care. If I could get just the same amount of money in a 1-year period, it makes a lot more sense to do that, especially when it's in all cash, because unused money goes in your account. So this is really, in my opinion, the shortest, fattest model of any of the long-term care products, short-term, hybrid. So that's my favorite part. So I'm really excited about it. And the more I get in there, my next webinar is going to be, I've got more ideas, I guess, for showing agents just how powerful this thing is in the policy design, and that I can compare this or compete with almost any plan out there in the long-term care spectrum. So I'm excited about it.
Awesome. All right, well, I'm going to start delving into some questions. We do have one person with their hand raised, but I believe Howard beat you to it for the first for the first question. He typed it in. Please discuss any post-application requirements. So this post-application requirements, Howard, thank you so much for your question. Does anyone just want to jump in, or I guess I'm going to leave this one open. We're talking about post-application. Are you talking, I wish I could go through and unmute. If it's post-delivery, or because nothing else should be needed through the underwriting process. Let me see if I can find him.
I think they're maybe talking just what is the agent's job to follow up on, maybe once I submit that app, is there anything I need to do or be aware of? Am I looking for an email? Am I looking for any responsibility? Is there something I need to do to keep that going? I think that's what they're asking.
Okay. I
might be wrong.
Good question. Well, you are an agent yourself, Jeff, and you volunteered. So shall I pick on you for the first question?
No, I haven't written a OmniFlex yet. Obviously, it's just I haven't gotten there yet. So I don't know. Go ahead, Tom.
Okay.
Yeah, I can take it. I think what he's asking is pretty broad, so obviously I'm not positive. But post-application requirements, there's really none with this type of product. It's pretty simple. Once you submit it, you guys will love the e-app, by the way, if you haven't written a piece of business yet, because all you need is the maiden names for the signatures, so you don't have to worry about DocuSign and some of those other hoops. And once you submit that application, it takes about 20 minutes only to go through. I've trained it several times. Then you'll get an email from Manhattan or Standard saying, hey, good job, you submitted an app. And then after that, really the behind the scenes is more from the team over at Standard and Manhattan. And I think Earl will agree. What they go through is they do a check on the meds like we talk about, so be really thorough on the medications. And if you end up where they've even offered to say, if you don't submit any meds on the e-app, you can put in a little request that you're going to send over a list, because we know some of the older folks have a long laundry list of medications that you can email in after the fact, and they'll connect the dots if you put in the client's name and your name, et cetera. They'll find that. So really beyond that, you just sit back and wait until you see that policy. You can go on ARC, and it's real easy to see where the policy is at in the underwriting process and the effective date process. So I think that is my best answer on that. It's pretty easy once you submit.
Okay, good deal. I will go ahead and find Larry again. I'm going to go ahead and unmute.
Oh, my turn. There? Hi, guys. Yes, yes, I am.
Yeah.
I use this app frequently, and I just want to give you some heads up. One of the things that I find with customers is skepticism because the prices are so low. I show them compared to Mutual of Omaha or somebody, and they say, how can they do $200,000 for that little money? So that's what I'm getting out in the field. But I have to convince them that the product is good. Manhattan Life's been around 150 years, and hopefully write the app and get them approved. So I just want to give you guys that comment, but I do have several questions, and I don't want to monopolize this whole thing. So you tell me when I have to go back into line. But I got this one question.
Okay.
When I do an e-app, okay, and that's what I do. If I only wanted to do a facility benefit and no home benefit, or just a home benefit or no facility benefit, how do I do that? Because the slide rule starts at $50 a day.
Yep.
I can take those questions.
Go ahead, John.
Or go ahead. Okay. For the first one, Larry, when you're talking about the price point, that is the strength of our product and what protects Manhattan Life, and that is the 5-year ramp up. So when somebody is pretty sick or going to go on claim in a year or two, they're not going to come to OmniFlex. They're going to go to the other products. In the long run, that's going to save Manhattan, and that's what makes this product very viable. And if you show them that ramp up and explain it that way, we're not going to have the amount of claims, especially right away, that those other companies are going to absorb. So that's a big reason for our price difference. On the second question, I already forgot what it was.
The slide rule calculator, if you just want to do home care or facility care, and it starts at $50.
Yeah, so it is a facility care product, so you always have to have facility care no matter what. So you can't do a home care only, because it always has to be at least facility care. If you do a facility only, just don't click the rider for the home care, and you'll be fine on that. So you can do a facility only, you can't do a home care only. Does that make sense?
Yes, perfectly explained.
Yep, and I just want to add in there too that if you are looking at individuals or working with clients who are looking for standalone home health care coverage, it's kind of in the same arena as this OmniFlex short-term care product, but we do have several options in our portfolio that are standalone home health care plans, including the newly enhanced Home Health Care Select product with Manhattan Life. So I know that's just been approved, the enhanced version, in 19 states. And it's also part of the Manhattan Lighthouse program. So there are other options available if you do come across clients only looking for the standalone home health care.
And I just
If
want
you
to
look
throw
at that
in,
home health care, if you look at that home health care select on that pricing, you may get the same kind of skepticism too, because that one's priced really aggressive as well.
Okay.
right.
All right.
And that's, and real quick, Larry, I just want to throw in, I think it was Larry, sorry, I forgot that wrong, I think it was Larry. You'll see on the site, I actually listed it up if you saw me looking at my other screen. When it shows that dollar amount by the home care and the hospital indemnity, it does show a little dollar amount there. And what's that showing, and that's a default from the 2.0 site, it shows that for that age and for that zip code, that's the absolute lowest price you could have that rider for with the lowest benefits. But rest assured, if you go in there and click view proposal, it won't show up like that. So I think what you're seeing is that, like for my example, for a 61-year-old, it shows $1.90 for home care. And it's kind of showing you that it might look like it's charging you for that, but it's just showing you the lowest coverage you could have theoretically if you chose it. So it isn't being included in part of your plan.
Okay. Can I ask another question?
Sure.
This is probably to Earl. GTL is available in both Virginia and Pennsylvania. Is there any plans to get Omni in those two states?
Virginia and Pennsylvania. Let me see. I know we've got a couple things coming this weekend. Yeah, neither one of those. You said Virginia. What was it? Pennsylvania?
And Virginia.
Yeah, let me check with the filing team. I know there's a couple that are scheduled to go this weekend, but it's not one of those. It's I think Alaska and DC. I know PA, there hasn't been a ticket created yet from an IT perspective, but let me follow up with our filing team, see when they were filed, the dates, and then that way I can kind of expect some kind of response back from the states if they haven't responded yet. If they have, I'll try to get an idea of when they're going to get it teed up from an IT perspective.
Okay.
I can just send that to the group as an update on those two particular states.
Okay. And another question is there any thought of doing a compound inflation rider as an add-on?
I know I can address that if I'm not on mute. I don't think we have any plans on it. You'll notice our simple inflation caps off once it doubles the benefit, and we did that on purpose to protect the carrier. That was another move we made to give the best benefits at claim time to protect Manhattan and Standard from having runaway inflation. So no, but the nice thing with this plan, you throw on that simple inflation, you can get up to $24,000 a month for, the care when it grows. So you can get some great coverage still, but no, I don't think we have any intention to go into compound.
Helps keep the price down. Yep.
Okay. And one last question.
Also, it simplifies the offering. One of the things that is the big challenge that we've had in the long-term care space is that these products are perceived to be very complicated. And to my point earlier about widening the net to and going back to the future and opening this up to outside the LTC world into the Medicare world, is you have to have a simple plan design. And if you complicate the process, it's both the agent and the client often are confused together. And not that in of itself, Larry, would be that point with just adding compound inflation, but it's easy to just start having more moving parts, making it more complex. And we want to make these products simple to understand and simple to explain.
Okay. And one last question, and I'll leave you guys. Now, you guys brought this point up before, the 5-year graduated benefit. And from my point of view, for my customer, sometimes I have to take them to Aetna as opposed to Omni because they got a lot of medical issues, and I expect them to use the plan before the 5 years. So is there any thoughts of upgrading the product with an optional, let's void the 5-year graduation scale and give them immediate benefit, full coverage from day one or 90 days?
I can take that one again. I don't think we'd ever consider that, Larry, for the reasons that you'd expect. We don't want the adverse selection, and that would compound our adverse selection. The people who need it right away would jump on that rider. So we designed it. It's no secret. If you've ever heard me train, I say that 5-year ramp up is our secret sauce. It's not a secret. It's one of those things that we put in there for exactly what you said. If you have a client that you can look at in the eye and say, you know what, if you think you're going to go on claim in a year or two, this may not be the best option for you. We're looking for people to plan and have this plan. For most claims do end up taking longer than 2 or 3 years. So we're throwing the net very wide still, but we do want to stay away from the people that just waited a little too long and are diving in to get coverage. So I know it's just part of the deal. I think everybody agree with me on the panel.
Can I say a quick point on that? Larry, if you're selling $206,000 a month or 200 or less a month, then just go ahead and double the benefit up front and don't use the inflation, right? Then you have double the benefit to begin with. Because if you are using inflation at 200, it was only going to go to 400. So you could live with that ramp up by just doubling your benefit to start and be done with it.
Good thought.
Good point. Yeah, good point, Jeff.
I'm done.
Okay. You should go to Carolyn.
Hey, Larry, not to get into the weeds on this, but you talk about the 5 year. It doesn't take 5 years actually to beat the competition. If you actually, with some of the tools that we have available on our resource page, Tom mentioned years 1 and 2. Yes, you might want to look to a different product if that's really what the goal of the client is, thinking they're going to have immediate use. But by year 3 and beyond, even though this product is not hitting full maturity, it outperforms anything else in the marketplace. So that's just something to keep in mind.
True.
All right. I think I'm gonna go ahead and put Larry back on mute, and we will move on to the next question. Thank you so much for all of those very good questions. The next question is from Caroline. Can a person doing physical therapy apply? Now, this is a good question. Have any of my marketers, my team, have we had circumstances where we've helped pre-screen clients that are currently undergoing physical therapy?
Yeah, I can take this one. As long as it's not for something that you need to have like a surgery or a testing done in the near future, just like, I don't know what question is, but the question's on the app. So if they're just doing physical therapy for physical therapy and not for a certain diagnosis, they should be fine, I believe. Right, Tom?
Yep. It's all about what condition you're doing it for, et cetera. So.
Okay, very good question there. Going right down the line, the next one is submitted by Philip. Hi, what are the specific steps I need to take to save an illustration in the OmniFlex online quoting software? So this is something that I will actually bounce over to my other screen. Very good question. And I think this is something that, while there aren't a ton of things that we can demonstrate here, I will actually go and show this on my screen. Going to the dashboard. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, the system still emails the quote after it's been drawn up, is that right?
I believe
Yeah,
so.
you can once upon submitting. Show the couple things. You don't have to go through it all on this. We do have recorded training as well. But when you get to the OmniFlex page, show where you can do the view proposal. That to me is my favorite. View proposal and then save it as a PDF so I can email it out, and I always have it on my hard drive. But there's also you can save it as well.
So I'm just going to go through them very quickly, put in some option here, and this, where you see view proposal, this is where you're actually able to download that PDF. You can put your client name in here, and it does actually generate there on the first page. Once you hit download, it does take a few moments, but then I am using Google Chrome. You'll actually see it pop up. Oh no. Now, are you running into the same? I wonder if this person is running into the same issue. Now, I said the browser because it doesn't always work as intended when someone is using Internet Explorer, or some of those older browsers, Firefox, maybe not work as intended.
Did it boot you right out of the deal? That's weird.
Yeah.
I usually on webinars I've had a problem more than I've never had it lock up on me. Otherwise, it just takes a little while. But I want you to see this screen anyway. Go to the next screen and put in the nursing home really quick, and then and pause there for a sec, Lynn.
It is because of the webinar.
Yeah, it's using a little bit more of my computer's resources.
You can show it on that other screen. Go to Quick Quote Quick or whichever one, and put in something for nursing home. This is for Larry, by the way, and other people who might have had the same concern, because it makes sense now that he brought it up. You see down here where it shows the $2, if you can bring your mouse down to show the $2, it's not charging you for that because you haven't selected home care, but it's showing the lowest price possible if you did choose home care. So that's where some confusion, people think, well, they're charging me for those 2 riders. They're not, because you haven't checked the box. It's just showing you how much it would be for the cheapest coverage for that age person. So sorry, Lynn.
Oh,
then
no, that's quite all right.
Yep. Then if you go to view proposal, go ahead. I'm going to let you go.
Oh, I'm just going to click download illustration again and cross my fingers.
Nope.
Hopefully I'm not tapping out my computer.
No, I was going to say, I wouldn't do it again.
You're going to shut the whole webinar down, Len.
No.
I just ran one in parallel and it worked fine. Yeah, on my side.
Yeah, so. It must be that I'm hosting the webinar is probably doing a little bit too much.
So
for my
just save the
computer's
PDF,
resources.
Lynn, and save it to your desktop or save it to a file, right?
Show a sample of illustration from our asset page. It's on there.
Oh, in fact, it is. And we've got so many things on here. This is using the rate calculator. Did we have just the?
Oh, sorry, maybe not.
Okay.
I always have one open.
Sample quote, Tom. Yes, under go down, Len, where it says sample quote. That's using the internal rate calculator, though, Tom.
No.
Yeah.
Right. No big deal. But yeah, that's the one that we had as a temporary. So this is getting confusing. But because we're on this webinar, that's the reason that it's not showing up. Because it's trying to do too much bandwidth for GoldenCare with all of our pictures up here internally. So
Philip, we can actually connect with you after the call and walk you through that. But that's exactly where you would go and download that illustration.
Yeah, Phil, just give us a call. We'll help you out. We'll show you how to do it.
All right. So I'm going to go through and see if there's any other hands raised. We have one from Alita. I'm going to go ahead and unmute.
Hi, how is everybody?
Good.
I just wanted to add
Hi,
at
Lita.
the beginning, I had trouble because you do have to send it over to begin enrollment in order to save it in the system. So it's just not a matter of viewing and downloading the proposal. You've got to save it in the system so that when you go to write it, you pick the right quote. You may have done 2 or 3, and so it's very important to pick the correct quote that you've saved.
Right. So, and once you click start enrollment, you can do a save, right, Lita?
Yes, exactly, but you have to click start enrollment
Right.
to save
That's
that quote.
So go ahead and do that, Lynn. Don't obviously try to download again, but you can go in and start enrollment, and then you'll see a save button, and you can show them how to use that quick.
As an enhancement, it would be great if you could just save it and not have to start enrollment, because that's counterintuitive to me on saving a quote. I'd rather just, save it in the system without going to start enrollment.
I know what you're saying there, and Earl, I don't know if you're taking notes on that, but we should bring that up, because to me, I've done this so many times in training that I begin the enrollment and I never finish it because I'm just doing partial trainings, and I save it right away after I click begin enrollment. But I could see an agent being confused, saying it's counterintuitive because it sounds like I got to jump over that cliff, that they don't realize it's not a big cliff they're jumping over. It's just getting to the screen.
Right.
Now, something
Yeah,
I want to put my 2 cents into, I believe we've had this discussion before, relatively early on when OmniFlex was being added to the Manhattan Direct 2.0 platform. And it's because this platform, if you recall, when I began the quote, it had me select which product I was going to quote. It works for many of those different products, but it isn't until you reach this enrollment that you start to put in the client's name. Granted, there is space to put the spouse name if you are quoting a spouse, but like I had done for this example, if I'm quoting an individual person, that person's name is in no way associated with the illustration. Aside from typing it in visually before downloading, it's not saved in this system anywhere until you do reach the enrollment and save.
Right.
So I do think that was just in having this product work alongside those other existing products on the platform, I believe that's why it is set up the way that it is.
Yeah, that's a good recollection, Lynn. Thanks for jarring my cobweb memory. But yeah, that's why we did that.
That's been a little while ago, if I recall.
That's been a while. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? It's a valid thing. Thanks, Alita, because Earl, I would like to discuss that to see if there's any way to say you can still save it for whatever file name you want. Maybe it's something that won't be that hard. It might be something that would screw up the whole system. So we can check and see. But,
yeah.
Definitely worth
investigating. Alita, it's always nice to have someone on the call that's writing with frequency, because you're bumping into it day in and day out, and which is great. We appreciate that insight.
I'm trying.
All right. Thank you,
Hey,
Alita.
real quick, Lynn, if I could, I wanted to circle back on the question regarding Pennsylvania and Virginia. Virginia's been filed, so we're just waiting back from the state at this point. PA was actually pulled back. We pulled it back because they, without getting too deep, they wanted some changes around the maximum benefits or something like that. I'll be happy to get the detail over to Tom and Dennis so you guys can kind of communicate that out if you like. But yeah, Pennsylvania doesn't look like that's going to be anytime within the near future, but hopefully, fingers crossed, Virginia comes through sooner rather than later.
I believe I remember Tom sharing similar information a little while before, and there had been, I want to say, 4 or 5 other states that, yes, OmniFlex had been filed, but there was something that came back that they're, and whether the team is making changes or refiling with some, state differences or whatnot. I think there were a couple states, and if I recall, I think Pennsylvania.
Yeah, just to kind of give you those real quick, it was Utah, New Mexico, Kansas, Minnesota, Kentucky, Pennsylvania, and Vermont.
Okay. Yep. Some of those are ringing a bell. Minnesota.
Yeah, those are our problem children. Yeah.
Okay.
And some of them will be hard to overcome totally. That's one of the things we bring to the table is I keep nagging and trying to figure out ways to refile. So Earl and Todd get the brunt of that.
Yeah. And then from a filing perspective, just so you guys are all aware, we are currently filed and waiting for responses in Oregon, Indiana, again, Virginia, Delaware, and Rhode Island.
Good deal. All right. We're
Right.
going to move
When
on.
those come in, that's going to be a lot of coverage on the map when those 5 come in, 4 or 5.
You bet.
All right. Let me move on to the next one. I have a comment from Peggy, and it starts off with a comment. I love this product. And then she says, can you let us know when we will get it to the rest of the states? So we may have covered that a little with our discussion just now. So we are getting it filed in additional states. It really relies on how quickly the Department of Insurance can review and turn it around. So hopefully more are coming soon.
Hey, Lynn, maybe just to manage everyone's expectation, as Earl said, we're going to cover the map a little bit more, but realistically, we're not going to get beyond probably the mid-30s in terms of actually state approvals, and it's consistent with really other carriers in the same marketplace. You know, their bandwidth is no greater or no lesser, and so the usual suspects that he talked about that Earl didn't even have to bring up, which was California, New York, Florida. Those are all challenges, but we are hopeful that maybe we'll be able to get some of those other ones, and I'm very confident we'll at least be where every other carrier is that's in the short-term care space.
All right. So we have a very good question from Mark. Mark types, does this satisfy the current legislation in states that charge for not having LTC? I believe Mark is referring to some of those, considering the government LTC solutions, if you can call them solutions.
Payroll tax.
Right. So,
No, Jeff, go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, no, yeah. Unfortunately, it doesn't. It'd be great if it was, but at this point, it's not going to count towards the payroll or avoiding the penalties for not having, like the Washington Cares Fund is what I'm sure you're alluding to. But at this point, no. It'd be nice, but at this point, no.
okay, thank you for your question, Mark. We have another question from Peggy, and she asks, if someone has a 0-day elimination period, why would they need to use the quick cash, the Fast 50? Tom, I think you were the one that said that was among your favorites.
That's an easy one. That's an easy one, Peggy, because one of the things that it's obviously first day cash, because we've always liked that term, and it just makes everything easier to say if you choose the cash benefit, it's 50% of whatever your regular benefit would have been available for. And it's obviously usually used with home care. It's on the facility, but most people obviously are going to use it for home care. That's where it makes sense. And it's 50% of whatever it is. But the biggest thing about it is obviously that it throws that net so much wider on where you can get your coverage from, because it includes family members, friends, church groups, whatever it may be. The main objection you get for people, besides maybe affordability, is I want my family members to take care of me. I have my spouse here. So it's a great objection stopper. It's something that we know people love, that flexibility of cash. So the elimination to me is big time secondary, because we sell mostly 20-day maybe or 0-day anyway at home. So it's about having that net thrown wider and having family members and friends be able to help you for your plan of care.
All right. Answered expertly. Okay, the next question that we have also revolves around the state approvals. Howard had submitted a second question asking, any word on approvals in other states? So just like Earl said, there are whispers, and it sounds like it's coming sooner than later in, I believe he referred to 2 states. States.
Alaska and what was the other one?
Was it DC?
District of Columbia.
Yeah, DC. Yeah.
Okay, good deal. We have a comment from Mark saying, Jeff, thanks for all you do. I
Aw,
appreciate that.
thanks, Mark. Mhm.
Yes. Okay, so we have another question from Olga. My clients are put off by the term STC. Ah, okay, by the term STC, short-term care. How do you sell this product and make it appealing as appealing as a long-term care product? Okay.
Perfect. Jeff, go ahead.
You want me
I
to
think a
jump
couple
in
of us
on
want to crack at that one. Go ahead.
that? I think the key is that, you know, she's right. There is a, you know, short-term care can imply, and if you Google that, oftentimes you come up with people thinking about short-term health care. That's 90 days or 180 days. And part of this is this continual paradigm shift that we have to have where we're changing the vocabulary. And so what we've done is when we train, we talk about extended care is what we like to use, because we don't want people to already have preconceived notions that this isn't going to be enough coverage or this is playing second fiddle to long-term care. So a lot of it is really semantics, but semantics mean a lot because, you know, clients do have, if they're perceiving that this is not really, they're getting the value. And Tom alluded to this earlier about being able to build these $1 million plans. I think Jeff alluded to that as well, how robust we can be. So a lot of it is just changing your vocabulary and using words that will make them feel more comfortable. And depending upon who you're in front of, there's other terminology that we've used as well, but extended care is one that we like probably the best.
All
Now, you my
right.
2 cents. You know, I've been comparing, contrasting, and breaking down all these long-term care plans that maybe people are declined from, or, you know, the agents bring us to us. And boy, almost every time I can build a pretty robust OmniFlex, set it side by side in that long-term care. So at least if I have the 40, 55 people that are on here now live or more, bring us a case you're working on, and we can basically show your client how that's not true. I know it sounds like short-term care, long-term care, we have to get around that stigma, but clearly there's so much more power in this short-term care. And a lot of us are writing small pools of money now. I told Tanya I probably do, I don't know how many quotes in a week, you know, 50 quotes, or most people are bringing me pots of money of 150,000 or less. We just can't afford to write $250,000 anymore or have one. If you can, that's great if you have some affluent clients. But most of what we see are these smaller pots of money, and I can compete so well in this with the short-term care plan. So I don't know if you call it medium care plan, or medium care insurance, or, you know, recovery, whatever the word for it. You're right. There's that stigma out there that we have to get agents over. So I really hope you guys just give us a chance to show you that.
My 2 cents is that it's agents and clients both. And I think there's just that correlation between the long-term care products that, you know, there are the misconceptions that it's exclusively for facility care and people don't want to go to a facility. But there's that correlation between long-term care insurance and short-term care insurance. And, you know, to be truthful, this is why we name products the way we did. We were very adamant that this product be named and referred to as OmniFlex. I've actually heard an agent provide feedback saying it was actually an easier client discussion when she didn't refer to long-term care or short-term care. She literally just referred to the product names. So that might help to provide a well-rounded answer too. All right. The next question we have, you know, I don't see the person's hand raised anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and read the next one. If you do not see approval in a few days, does that mean a phone interview has been ordered? This is a question submitted by Caroline. Is
Manny on still?
I was just going to ask. Yep. Is Manny still on?
Yes. Good afternoon, everybody. So I don't know if that could necessarily mean that a phone health interview has been initiated. It could be for, you know, a number of reasons. If it's the first application, that will take longer to get appointed in the state. But if there are a lot of medications listed on that application, then the chances are that it probably will be doing a phone health interview with them to verify all of those medications. But just because of the 2-day delay, I don't think you could jump to that conclusion.
I would agree with that. And isn't there an actual PHI designation for a pending reason that they put on there? I want to say there is on our other products. I would assume that that's a pending reason for this one as well.
Right.
Let's see here.
Yeah, you'll see that on ARC. If you look on ARC, you can't show it on your screen, obviously, because of HIPAA, but it does. I think it will show pending phone interview or.
Let's see.
I don't want to think, Annie, you handle new business more than I do, but.
I thought there were the full listed
There you go. There you go.
pending PHI. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So usually those close on ARC.
Yeah, that's the best place to go if you have any questions on the status of your policy. The first resource is that ARC underneath, is it active policy list?
Yeah, policy list, yeah.
You can view all of these application status codes there.
Okay. So thank you for that question. We'll move on to the next.
Lynn, can I say it's 2:52, right? 8 minutes. There's so many questions here. I'm
there
almost
are so
feeling
many
like
questions.
I'm feeling like, and there's some really good ones here. I've been scrolling through them.
Oh,
I
sure.
think, like, you know, John and I, Manny, maybe we'll powwow after this. And for those of you that didn't get your question answered, we'll call you personally. Like I've seen a couple here from, I don't know, Janine Tate, another one, good one from Peggy. A lot of good questions. Scott Fishkin. I guess she was helpful. I'm not supposed to say first and last name. Sorry. we can give you a call back because these are some really good questions. And I'm just looking at the time here. I just don't want to hold everyone else up.
Thank you for
just
keeping an eye
also
on the
say,
time.
look, call us. It looks like there's a lot of good questions here. We're anxious and excited to talk about this. At least I am. I love talking about this. It's our new toy here at the office, so we love it. So call it anytime. We're loved. I get jacked up talking about it because it's really a fun product. So
I think
maybe we should have asked the experts 2.0. And you know, as Jeff said, there's a lot of demand, and we appreciate those that Jeff has already shared some names. We know that many are writing again with frequency and are falling in love with the OmniFlex product. So we certainly appreciate the business and appreciate them taking their time to be on this particular webinar as well.
I think we got a few minutes here. Let's just, Lynn, fire off questions. Tom, you the only one that answers. And let's see if we can zip through even short answers real quick.
Yep.
Okay.
John
has a great idea.
Fire.
It's a great idea, except
rapid fire.
Lynn, wait. Rapid fire and let Jeff or John handle it because Dennis and I have to jump off and go on another training that starts in a couple minutes. But I do want to tell everybody thank you so much for jumping on. And if you haven't tried this plan yet, call Jeff or John or myself or somebody because I promise you'll be pleasantly surprised and your clients are waiting for you to present this. So a lot of people need help out there. Thanks, everybody. Again, I'm going to bow out. And Dennis, I know we have to jump on that other call. But thanks, Earl, a ton for jumping on. And thanks, Lynn, for steering. And John and Jeff and Manny, appreciate all you do. Thanks, guys.
Got it.
Thanks, everyone.
Right. In the last few minutes, we will rapid fire. Scott, with all the increases in Genworth plans, would you suggest reducing the Genworth benefits and adding the OmniFlex or even canceling the Genworth plans?
It's definitely a case by case.
Yep.
So you can't really just say because it depends on what their plan is.
And how long they've had it, et cetera. So that's, I agree.
Case by case. So I do want to throw in there too, we are developing another training topic for OmniFlex where we actually review some of the various plan designs. Our very own Dennis Reiner will be training on that when we have a little bit more finalized with the development. So be on the lookout for additional training. That will be one of the things that building a small plan design meant to supplement. That's one of those. Okay, so
Can we read the answer? One of our administrators has answered that question about how to save illustrations. Save your illustration by selecting enrollment details. Fill out the names, then select save. After, go back and select product and select OmniFlex to go back to the illustrations. We can maybe send that out, maybe as a follow-up. That's a pretty good answer for that. Okay.
Yeah, very good. Once you do save a proposal, it would be really nice if you could close out and go back to adjust for a different proposal. Right now you have to start over completely unless I am missing something. That's very good feedback, and we'll have to connect afterwards. But I do believe that Manhattan Life is still receptive to making changes as needed, but it's definitely good feedback. And you're referring to building a quote, saving it, and then to go back and do a different iteration for the same clients. Hopefully that's what that person
And
was referring to.
there's certain aspects that you can't change, like the zip code. If your client is, if you just do a random zip code in the state and you need to go back to change that to their specific zip code for their illustration, you can't go back to do that. So there are certain things you can't change while you're in the middle of the quote at this point.
Okay. Next question, what is your criteria for having a person go to an interview or go to an interview process? I believe that's exclusively based on the medications that they're taking from the medication list. If I'm not mistaken, Manny, that one might have been directed
Or a health
well.
condition. If like a health condition doesn't match up, maybe a certain medication, you may have to ask a question. Some medications have multiple uses, so I would imagine that's probably why.
Right. Also to see what degree certain conditions they are covered up to a certain degree, so they need to call follow up to see, what stage the Parkinson's may be at, et cetera.
There was another question about what specific medications are knockouts. Please refer to our assets page. We actually have the medication list right there for you to look through. You'll actually see if the medications are a decline outright or whether it would end up leading to limited benefits. And of course, whether a phone interview would end up being likely based on the person taking that. Let's see here. When can we expect brochures in the field to hand out during the application process? I had worked with my supply team to try and get some hard copy brochures, and that's been a while ago, and I haven't checked back in. Manny, do you know whether or not they've gotten any in our supply team?
I'm not sure if we've gotten them in yet. I believe they've been ordered, but I will check into that and we can collaborate on that to respond at the end.
I know that's not the first time we've had people asking for the hard copy brochures. So it's definitely nice to hand out those pretty glossy brochures when meeting with clients.
We can also provide those as well.
Yep, Manhattan Life. And now, correct me if I'm wrong, Earl, I believe Manhattan Life, you have the capability of printing brochures and those materials there in-house and shipping.
Absolutely, yeah. We've got a print shop here in-house. Humongous printers can do huge volumes. So yeah, if you need a box of 100 or whatever, you go into a convention, you need a couple hundred, just shoot me an email or whatever. Go through Resource One. However, just give me a message and let me know what you need, and we can certainly get you guys out whatever it is you need.
All right, good deal. Let's see here. Must it be called short-term care or can it be called extended care? This is also a very good question because we are trying to, like I said, the long-term care and the short-term care terminology, it could be a deterrent for a sale. And I think there's other preconceived notions and misconceptions that people have about those types of coverage. So extended care or longevity care planning, a lot of that is personal preference, but it's the conversation about planning for the unforeseen, those unplanned health challenges.
She called it short-term, simplified issue.
Medium-term plan?
No, she called it short-term recovery care, or it was Janine again. Sorry.
Oh.
She typed in there what she called it. I kind of liked it. We've been struggling with what kind of names to give this thing. Simplified issue extended care.
Okay. Okay.
And
When
again,
will
we have to focus on the benefits that are included in that short-term care plan too. It might be called short-term care, but the amount of money in the pot, is equal to the same amount. A mutual plan could be over 3 years. You're just getting it in a 1-year time span. So the policy is just as powerful as these long-term policies, like Jeff was saying, short and fat 3.0. So that's the power in this.
Sure.
I know there's an agency, some colleagues that that an attendee works with is referring to it as alternative care, and that's going over pretty well. So I think we're right at the top of the hour. Earl, I really appreciate you taking the time. I am going to answer this one last question here while we're live. When will OmniFlex be on StrataCision? We are actually currently working with the developers at StrataCision. We are in the process of getting over pricing, so that way OmniFlex can be included. For an overall timetable or ETA, I'm unsure. I'm unsure how long it will take StrataCision to actually build out the product within their quoting platform. But we are working on that. Yes, we are working on getting OmniFlex to show up on those short-term care comparisons. Okay,
Thank you, everyone.
We didn't get to everyone's question, but we will be sure to follow up with emails, or feel free to give our office a call. You can reach us at 1-800-842-7799. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time out of your day, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Earl, Jeff, Manny,
Thanks
thank
a lot,
you all
everyone.
for joining us.
No problem.
Thanks,
for having
Earl.
me. Bye.
Yep. Call us. Yep. Thanks.
Thanks, everybody.